Together previously on this project Rider. How did that come about?
Yeah, so that film came about, kind of by chance in a lot of ways. I was walking to work one day, and a woman fell in front of me, and she was wearing like this bright orange backpack, and I looked around, and there were like four riders all laughing at her, and I was like, oh, this is a community that doesn't just exist, as everyone interacts with them. It's just like someone who comes to your door. It was like a real like eye through the
So
curtain.
they were
Like, it's
laughing
like,
with her as
yeah,
friends, like,
yeah,
you
yeah,
fell over,
yeah,
kind of thing.
and it struck me as well that not only was there like, there was this culture there. There was also the fact that the bag was so heavy
Yeah,
that it made her fall over. And it made
right.
me realize how demanding this job is. And I think that kind of happened and kind of went into my brain. And then I saw a rider on FaceTime with his family along the Thames, like right on Embankment, a couple of weeks later. And that actually features in the film. And a few other things like that started happening. And I think I kind of started going down the rabbit hole of research. And I spent like 3 or 4 months just researching
Like, who are the
everything.
riders?
Yeah,
Like,
who are riders, like what kind of issues are they facing? Like there's a subreddit called Ruse where riders talk about the best way to like, work out their day and places to avoid and talk about like rate increases or rate decreases. And like last year there was like a unionization on Valentine's Day where like a few thousand riders went on strike, and that's all because of like the fact that they're able to communicate on platforms like this. So um, I basically had those like little trinkets of moments, and then kind of a big area of research, and I think I just kind of felt like from my perspective, my kind of way into it was like, I'm not from London. I moved here to pursue a job in the film industry, which is its own kind of economy and has its own quirks. And I moved here. I moved here and had to like find my place as well.
so you were an outsider,
Yeah, and I
right?
think like I then started to think of it as like, okay, my way into this is the like outsider thing, and looking at London as a place where you are like coming to try and set up a life and trying
Yeah,
like carving out like some space. And I think that I saw that space when I saw that girl fall over. I saw that space had been created, and kind of wanting to be as honest as possible about the stories. I brought all of that research together and the first-hand experiences, like both the rider, like the backpack tumble, and the phone call on the Thames in the short film.
right.
And then there were no real spoilers, but in the attack sequence that was based on like a BBC News report, and it was like traced step by step, um, of how that attack went down and why it went down, understanding, like trying to just create the most authentic experience
Sure.
possible, while also I didn't want it to be like overly apologetic. I wanted it to still have like some character complications and some big filmic moments that didn't make it feel like a small matter, something that actually does deserve like a mainstream audience that can grab people and doesn't have to be like fly on the wall and kind of low key. It can actually be a story that deserves to occupy the big screen.
Sure.
And so kind of bringing that research and those inspirations together, I wrote a film that I think had an interesting character in it, and had a journey that was very new and of our time, and presented
Sure.
challenges that I feel that everyone can grapple with. But also, the main thing is that you get the sense of how hard the job is. You get a sense of how antagonistic London can be, and you also understand that when you're ordering things on Deliveroo or Uber Eats or whatever platform you're ordering from, that actually you are impacting the direction of someone's day and their life, and that can take them down a back alley where they end up getting their bike stolen.
So we should always tip.
You should always, yeah. I mean, like it's really because that, the risks involved in it are quite high. Even outside of malicious thugs, like riding in London is dangerous.
Yeah.
Like cars don't respect riders.
Sure.
And also when you're under a pressure of delivering for money, the more you deliver, the more money you make. And so you have this really dangerous combination of like speed and dangerous roads, and it just makes for a really harsh working environment.